and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it's 10 o'clock, and you know what that means. Get your cocktails ready, because we're about to get started. All right, I got my cocktail ready. It's time to get the countdown started. 5, 4, 3.
A little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
Get yours today, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children. Let me change this lighting here. Get that up there. Move down there. Maybe fix that. There we go. Fuck. Technical difficulties. There we go. Technical difficulty theater. I gotta fix this real quick. Bear. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Are we back? I think I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it would appear the technical difficulty theater has already begun, and we are already back and rolling. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I see my video feed. We're good. So, I'm the Old Humble guy, and this is the Old Humble Distilling Company's happy hour on a special night. It's Tuesday night. Usually I have it on Wednesday nights, but tonight I'm on Tuesday night because we passed 2200. We're at 2210. I'm going to have my opening shot. I've been on the road for a good chunk of the month of July, here and there, walking the world, seeing to the affairs of men, having myself a grand old time. We just got back from an 11-state road trip. I was a little bit behind on work. I've caught up to work, mostly caught up to work. I'm still a lot behind, but we're catching up. Things are moving in the right direction, if you will. I think I need to move this a little bit this way. Everything's gonna freeze again, won't it? I need to go this way. This way. There we go. That puts me centered. All right. So, yeah, opening shot. We're having a Double Oak Rye tonight. Cheers. Shooting rye. Shooting rye. Who among you has had a good rye whiskey that you could shoot? Cheers. It doesn't exist because rye generally tastes like ass. But our rye is delicious. There, that should do it. Old Humble Double Oak Rye. It doesn't taste like ass. I gotta have a better catchphrase than that. Old Humble Double Oak Rye. It's rye unexpectedly delicious? No. It's not your grandfather's rye whiskey. That's true. It's not your grandfather's rye whiskey. I'll go with that one. All right, we got us a catchphrase for the rye. All right, so my cocktail tonight is smoked rye whiskey. So all it is a proper shot of whiskey on the rocks. I actually do. I prefer to drink my whiskey on the rocks. That is how I roll. I like it to be cool and room temperature. And just for the record, when I have a large piece of ice, that is how much. That is a proper shot on a large piece of ice. And I'm going to smoke it with my top hat, my fog hat, whatever it's called. Actually, it's not fog hat brand. It's Bish Bash. All right, that's fine. But watch the smoke as it descends upon. Get a little cooking going on there. The smoke lights it up. There it is. Look at that as it descends down upon the whiskey. Now I did a little episode about the smoke, see if the smoke actually does anything, and the science backs the fact that the smoke does stuff. The smoke actually does stuff to the whiskey. There's a scientific, a science content effect that happens on the whiskey. There's some kind of hydroscopic effect where the whiskey touches the surface of or the smoke touches the surface of the whiskey, and the surface of the whiskey that gets touched by the smoke falls down to the bottom and creates a convection current so that the whiskey down below the surface just rises to the top. The whiskey on top sinks to the bottom, and the smoke filters throughout the whiskey. Is that freeze again? No, I was just looking at a thing. So the smoke filters throughout the whiskey, and you get the flavor throughout the glass. And that is a real thing, and I've tested it now. You know, being familiar with my own whiskey, I'm able to test it and do science content on my own whiskey, so I can tell if the flavor of my whiskey has changed. Um, and I can tell it actually does. It changes. It doesn't change it dramatically, but it changes it subtly and enough for you to be able to notice. Um, and I've done taste tests with and without, side by side, and I can definitely tell when when it has been done and when it hasn't been done. Uh, and I can tell the different flavors of smoke that are being used between the walnut or apple or cherry or whatever it is. So there you go. So anyway, that's my cocktail for that. Just a simple smoked rye, walnut smoked rye is what I'm using tonight. But let me give you an update over the last month. What we've done since returning from the encampment on the side of the road, my fireworks stand. Since returning from the fireworks stand, I think I did one show, and and then we went on vacation. Over the course of the month, I have done work at the distillery, traveled, doing tastings across the city, mostly here in Houston, at the beginning of July. And now it's the end of July. The last 2 weeks of July, I was on the road. We drove from Houston to Louisiana through Mississippi on the Natchez Trace Parkway, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and into Ohio. Ohio is the home state, the birthplace of Neil Armstrong. And while we were in Ohio, we attended the Moon Festival. The Moon Festival is the annual festival they have in Wapakoneta, Ohio, which is the hometown of Neil Armstrong. And they have this Moon Festival on the anniversary of the first ever human stepping foot on the moon. That human just happens to be Neil Armstrong. And the First to the Moon Festival in Wapakoneta is a charming little street festival, charming little small town festival, thoroughly enjoyable. And then on the way back, we traveled down from Ohio to Paducah, Kentucky. And from Paducah, Kentucky, we went to Metropolis, Illinois, which is the recognized home of Superman and the largest collection of Superman memorabilia, giant Superman statue in the middle of town. It's Metropolis. It does not look like Metropolis in the comic books. It is a decidedly small town. It's about 6,000 people, but it is a charming damn town and very fun to go to. And then from Metropolis, we headed down to Memphis. And on the way to Memphis, we went through Missouri, which was a surprise. We went to a whole nother state that we weren't expecting to go to. So we go through Missouri down into Arkansas and into Memphis. We stop into Memphis, visit with my cousin, go from Memphis out to Hot Springs in Arkansas. And then from Hot Springs, we went down through Arkadelphia and to visit with more cousins, and went our happy merry way into Texarkana and Texas, and then we made our way back home, and that was what it was: 11 states: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas. Wait a minute, did I leave off Illinois? Then back to Texas. That was our 11th state, was Texas. So yeah, it's like a 2,300-mile odyssey. We road trip like fucking bosses. We absolutely do. We spent the first night we spent in where was the first night that we spent? Mississippi. The first night was spent in Mississippi. The second night was also spent in Mississippi. Tupelo, Mississippi was the second night. The Natchez, we're just outside of Natchez, was our first night. Second night was Tupelo. Third night was Nashville? No, Kentucky. Third night was Kentucky. We stayed in. Hang on a second. My lovely wife will remind me where the third night was. Mississippi, Kentucky. Kentucky was the third night. Then we stayed outside of Nashville, and then Wapak. Then from Wapak, it was Paducah, Hot Springs, and home. 3 days to come home from Ohio. It was a long damn trip. And I labeled this episode as a bourbon hunting episode, partly because while we are on the road, when we're traveling, we like to stop and see the local sites. We like to stop and see. We like to eat at places that are local. I don't like to go and eat McDonald's everywhere we. In fact, I don't like to eat McDonald's. Period. But I don't like. I mean, I don't like to eat fast food chains when I'm on the road. I like to find a local barbecue place. I like to find a local, or at least a regional establishment like Bob Evans up in Ohio. They don't have Bob Evanses in Texas. I like to eat places where they don't have down here in Texas. I like to go to places we don't have down here. So it would be silly to go to a movie in Ohio. I can watch the damn movies down here in Texas. That'd be silly to do that. But you go somewhere for local flair. That's what we like to do, and that is why I called this episode a bourbon hunting episode, because that is my main criticism that I had from people or for people based on this trip. Like, I could have gone traveling through all these places and not had a single local beer, not had a single local whiskey, not had a single local sandwich, not had a single local anything. And that's what bourbon hunters do. Bourbon hunters. They go to some local small mom and pop shop and they go looking for some damn Kentucky whiskey. I saw a post for people who were traveling to Texas from Wyoming. They're coming to Texas from Wyoming. They were coming to Texas from New York, coming to Texas from Florida, coming to Texas from Oklahoma, crossing the border from Oklahoma into Texas, and posting on local whiskey forums here in Texas. They were coming to San Antonio with the San Antonio Bourbon Club. One was going to Dallas, the Dallas Bourbon Society. One came to Houston, the Houston Whiskey Society, HWS. All three of these people posted, where are some local spots I can find some rare whiskeys like, and then listed 6 different Kentucky whiskeys. And that just absolutely chaps my ass. Because you're coming to Texas. Texas is home to a thriving whiskey industry. Thriving. There's more than 100 distilleries in the state of Texas, and not all of them are in stores. Most of them are at the distilleries themselves, especially the truly rare ones, the truly rare, truly special edition, truly things that you've never heard of and never seen before. You come to a damn state, you come to a whole state, and you go to their liquor stores to look for Kentucky whiskey? Are you fucking kidding me? Kentucky whiskey is all factory whiskey. If your Kentucky whiskey is on a store shelf, it is not rare. It's not hard to get a hold of. It's not unique. It may be hard for you to get a hold of in Rabbit Leg, Missouri, or someplace out there. It may be hard for you to get a hold of it, but it is not hard to get a hold of. Thousands of people have that bottle. Hundreds of thousands of people have that bottle. It may be hard to get a hold of there, but it's not rare. It's not rare. It's not hard to get a hold of. You just got to know where to go. But a place like Border Oak Distillery in Kentucky, or a place like Cooper Family Distilling Company, or Left Turn in Albuquerque, Left Turn Distillery in Albuquerque, or even us, the Old Humble Distilling Company here in Humble, or here's another one, Neely Family Bourbon in Kentucky. You haven't had Neely Family Bourbon. You haven't had their whiskey. You know how I know? Because you shop at liquor stores. You try to find their bourbon at liquor stores. That's how I know you haven't had it, because you have to get it at their distillery, for the most part. I mean, Border Oak, they distribute now, but they are a very small distillery. They're a very small distillery. I saw their stills. They're a very small place. They're delicious. They make delicious whiskey. They make, you want to talk about new and unusual? They make a lavender-infused whiskey. They take their Lincoln whiskey, which is a cask-strength whiskey, and they add lavender cuts to the barrel, and they infuse it with lavender, and then they cut it down to 60 proof. New, unusual, you ain't had that shit before. So don't sit there and tell me, I hunt rare and unique bird. You don't hunt shit. You are looking for stuff that's on sale. You're looking for overpriced Gucci t-shirts. That's what you're looking for, a brand. Now, let me tell you how to find truly new, unique, and rare whiskeys. You go to a town, you go to a place, you go to a city, you go to a state, whatever. You Google distillery, Texas. You Google city I'm in, wherever it is. Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Kingwood, Humble, Corpus Christi, Galveston, Paducah, Wapakoneta. Down the street from where we were was Indian Lakes Distillery. They make delicious whiskey. I had some of their whiskey. Good stuff. I didn't buy a bottle. I didn't have funds on me to buy a bottle, but I did try their whiskey. It was good, really good stuff. Google the town you're in. Go on vacation. Go to a state. Go to a place. Google the town you're in. Now just use your location, Google distillery, and put in the zip code where you're at. Find the closest 3 distilleries. Go to one of them. Ask them where they're distributed to. Whatever. You don't even ask them where they're distributed. Just go find us stuff. If it's a distillery you've never heard of, that's even better. Go check it out. Buy a bottle while you're there. Buy 2 bottles while you're there. The owner of the establishment is elated that you're there. They are happy to have you. They are happy to host you. They are happy that you're being their guest. Absolutely. It's true. Check one more time. Make sure my chat's linked up. Because I did have technical difficulties, so I want to make sure we still have technical. Yeah. This thing is on, right? Yep, there we go. Okay. I didn't double check my chat and make sure it was working. But the owner of the establishment will be overjoyed that you're there. They'll be happy to walk you around. They'll be happy to give you a tour. They love talking about their shop. They love talking about their whiskey. They love talking about everything they do. How do I know? Because I'm one of those people. I am one of those people. I will sit there and chat with you for as long as you'll listen to me. But then, after about an hour, I'm really going to want you to leave because I have work to do. But, hang out. As long as it's cool and comfortable. The end of the day, end of the week, come on. Let's do it. Absolutely. Let's talk. There we go. That's better. The lights are still... Anyway. I did get a new prescription for glasses today, so I'm going to have some new glasses tomorrow or next week. It'll be next week, about 10 days. Very happy about that because I've had searing headaches over the last week. But anyway, you call yourself a bourbon hunter? Go hunt real bourbon. Go really hunt for new, unusual, unique, unicorn bottles. And it's not stuff you've heard of. Go hunt for stuff you've never heard of. That's how you find new, unusual, unique bottles. Everybody's like, oh, but do you have Colonel E.H. Taylor? You know, fuck E.H. Taylor. That's just factory whiskey. It's average. Factory whiskey with a cool marketing story. That's all. Don't fall for the marketing hype. Go get yourself some real unique bourbons. Real unique whiskeys all across the country. There's a place in Indiana making sorghum whiskey. Sorghum whiskey. There's a place in Colorado using, there's several places in Colorado using mountain stream water for their whiskeys. I mean, come on, man. Go to a whole another state and ask those people in that state where they can get whiskey from another state in their state? Are you kidding me? Why don't you just piss in our gas tanks and slash our tires while you're at it? God damn. Anyway, I just need to get that off my chest. The beginning of the show, so we can move on to other stuff because, whew, that's some stuff going on this month. The SAG-AFTRA strike, the writers are on strike along with the actors. Oh boy. I know at least one guy who's irrationally mad about that, who thinks writers are so overpaid, I'll just watch reality TV shows. Now, Nate's a fool. And he got mad at me for defending the writers. Because I'm apparently some kind of bougie elitist. Because I defend the workers' rights to organize. Come on. I shaved? Did I? Hey, cheers, Walter. Did I shave? Is that what happened? I noticed the breeze was tickling my cheeks a little more than usual. Yes, I shaved. Okay, so let me tell you the story. I tutor kids in my spare time over at the local tutorium. Tutorium? Yeah. And they had a it's summertime, so we're goofing off, we're having fun. Special day for the kiddos was Crazy Hair Day. Crazy Hair Day is what they were doing. And I don't do crazy hair, right? I don't do hair anymore. It's a mess. It's a pain. No half measures. It's thinning out, so I just take it off. But I had a beard. And I was like, you know what? I'll join in and participate. Sure. So I went into the tutorium around 3:00. So around noon, I pulled out the blue hair dye, the blue gel. It's actually a mousse. It's kind of a cream. And I did the beard. I brought down the blue through the beard. Blued it up. Nice and blue. Combed it out, made it nice, and that stuff's like a mousse. It's like a cream. It's a mousse. It's like a gel. So my beard was a little bit, it was crusty. Once it dried, it was kind of crusty. I did the blue for the kids. Did it for the kids. I hated it. Every second, I absolutely hated it. But it was only for like 4 hours. So as soon as we were done, as soon as I was done, I came home, showered it out, brushed it out, cleaned it out. But it had faded my whole beard from the salt and pepper to more salt than pepper. Lots of salt, less pepper. So I dyed it. I darkened it. I pulled out the darkener and I darkened it up, and it was nice and dark and long. I think I even have a picture of that. We find it because it was very dark, and it was very long still too when it was dark. But I can pull that picture. I think I do. I definitely have a picture of me with the dark beard. Where is it? Closer, close, almost there. I did a couple of videos with it. Here it is. Oh, that's a video. Here. No, that's a video. Oh, here's a. This is a dramatized version of me with the blue beard. That was me and Anna, but this was the darker beard, the darkened beard. Yeah, it was dark. I was handsome as hell. I still am. I am handsome as hell without question. But then we go on vacation, and then the dark beard starts to fade from the sun and just being out. So I was like, you know what? No, no, we're not gonna do this. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna have a graying, with dark on the end and gray on the front. No, I wasn't gonna do that. So I just went ahead and took the whole thing off. Um, sure it wasn't. Where is it? Sure it wasn't Shave the Whiskey Dude Day. No, it was not Shave the Whiskey Dude Day. I did kind of look like a rabbi a little bit. Yeah, I did kind of look like a rabbi with that. But then, when I came back from vacation, it was a little bit. It looked a little bit scraggly. It was the dark was fading, the gray was coming back, and I wanted a fresh start, so I just took the whole thing off. Took it off, clean start. We'll re. I'm gonna take the next few days, and I have not shaven 2 days consecutively for at least 4 years. I still haven't shaved 2 days consecutively. I shaved Sunday and I shaved today. I might shave tomorrow just to break that streak of not shaving 2 days consecutively. I may let it grow back out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have not yet decided. I have not yet decided. I am kind of enjoying the young, fresh look, however. A little bit not really liking this. My old neck. I need to get on the bike and work that off a little bit. But yeah, my wife likes seeing my face. She hasn't seen my face in probably 3 years. 2 years for sure. For sure 2 years. Possibly. No, probably two. Yeah, since 2021. Anyway, good times. Good times. So that's the story. That's why I shaved. Because we came back from vacation. I'm looking in the mirror going, nah, it's a little bit scraggly. It's a little bit rough. I needed to trim it down anyway because, I trimmed it down. I trim it down, I kind of get I get it off my cheeks. I bring it down here low, and it was growing back in up on the cheeks. So I was going to have to shave that down anyway. And if I'm going to take the razor out and do stuff, I'm just going to go ahead and knock it down and get it cleaned up. So I did. I went ahead and knocked it down, cleaned it up. And I took about 10 years off because I look now, I'm back down in my 30s, probably 30s, late 40s, or late 30s, early 40s. Yeah, I took about 10 years off. Um, Feels good. I'm not gonna lie, feels good. Kind of like it. So there you go. That's the story of the shave. What else? Oh, we got Justin Verlander coming back to the Astros. Super duper damn excited about Justin Verlander coming back to the Astros. And the Astros threw a no-hitter today, which means the Astros are going to win the World Series. Mark it. Mark my words. Bet on it. Bank it. Astros are going to win the World Series. How do I know? Trust me. I know. I made some phone calls. No, I'm kidding. I know because I feel this. I feel it. I feel the Astros are getting their groove. We're going to get Altuve back in full form over the next month. We're going to have we got Verlander back in the rotation. We got Graveman back in the rotation. We got or in the bullpen rather, not the rotation. We've got our guys. They're healing up. They're getting better. They're already damn near the best team in Major League Baseball as of today. I believe. We're a half game out of first place in our division. Bet on it. You go ahead and bet on it. Go ahead and bet on it. My whiskey guy guarantee. I said it's going to happen, so it's absolutely going to happen. I'm going to put my whiskey right there, and in about 20 minutes, we will have another drink. I want it to be right here in my line of sight so that I know what I need to do when it comes time to do it. About 20 minutes, pour myself a fresh drink. Okay, what else is going on? What else? We had a new satellite, a new space telescope that was launched, the Euclid, that is able to see invisible light, and I believe it is able to see visible light and infrared, if I'm not mistaken. So you get two different wavelengths that you can see with that one. And that's pretty bitchin'. And I believe it's supposed to be mapping out the cosmos for dark energy and dark gravity wells, which is pretty dope as hell, if you ask me. I don't understand all the science behind it, but it's supposed to be able to map out sections of the sky and make a 3D rendering of gravity wells for dark matter and dark energy. I don't know how it does it, but I'm not a scientist of space stuff. I am a scientist of whiskey stuff. So, what else? Oh, geez, what else? I have begun not production. I've begun the testing phase of a new gin uh, to be released at the end of the fourth quarter of this year, exclusive to the distillery, but eventually, possibly, maybe getting into store shelves. Um, Zips still is dragging their feet about picking us up. They only like to say they support local. They don't like to actually support local whiskeys. Texas whiskeys if they are distributed by a national distributor, not Texas whiskeys. Period. Just Texas whiskeys if with conditions. But I'm working on them. They're good people. They can listen to reason. I'm pretty sure that that I'll be able to get them to stock us in at least a few stores, and then grow that relationship over time. They're good folks. I like them. I like them, and I like their stores. What else? What else is going on that's in the news over the last 3 weeks of July when I've been busy? We did our July 4th. Why we celebrate July 4th episode. Um, we did. I posted a thing about. Oh, I don't even know what all the stuff I posted. Goodness gracious. Um, what else? We got Verlander, we got Graveman, we got our guys. What else is going? Oh, they threw a no hitter tonight. The Astros threw a no hitter tonight. That's a great. That's a great story. It is all. I was talking to my kids about superstition in baseball, and how superstition in baseball isn't superstitious. You can believe in good luck and good luck charms and good luck trinkets and good luck habits in baseball and not be superstitious, because baseball superstition is normal. It's not super. It's not magical. It's not uh, uh, extra extra natural, hypernatural, supernatural. It's just regular good luck. It's regular good luck. It's regular habit. It's regular patterns to 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 perform at a higher level. Whereas normal everyday superstition, like you know, witches and black cats and broken mirrors and walking under ladders and things like that, that's just silly. Clap twice, spin a circle, flip the light switch on and off. That's all just silly. That's OCD, mental disorder crap. That's not superstition. That's not proper superstition like baseball. Good luck charms. You wear the same socks when you're on a hitting on a hot streak. You wear the same socks. Y'all are on a winning. The team's on a winning streak. You don't ever break up with your girlfriend while you're in the middle of a winning streak, or in the middle of a batting streak, or when you're feeling when you get the yips and you can't catch a damn ball. That's when you break up with your girlfriend. That's when you do something different. You change things up. You wash your uniform. You wash your socks. You change out your jockstrap. You get a new bat. You get a new glove. You get a new hat. You get new cleats. You do all the things then to change stuff up so that you can get back into your normal routine. You gotta cleanse and redo. And I was telling my boys that is exactly why the Astros did not win a World Series until after everyone on the team that was involved with the Astrodome was off the team and out of the organization. Because, let me explain, the Astrodome was the first baseball stadium, all indoor, covered, domed stadium for baseball. The first ever built in the history of mankind. a domed stadium where baseball could be played indoors. Now, what does this have to do with the Astros and winning a World Series? I can explain it. Shut up. What this has to do with the Astros and the World Series is simply that the Astros mocked God by putting a roof over their field, putting a roof over their stadium, by blocking the game from the good Lord himself. The good Lord smoted the team. The team would not win a World Series until after they left the Astrodome and after everyone associated with the Astros in the Astrodome was no longer on the team. When they left the Astrodome, the good Lord looked down on Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio and said, "You know what? You can get there, but you can't win it." And they did. They went to the World Series in 2009. They got swept by the White Sox and they were done. That was the end of basically the end. They played a couple more years, but they were done. In was it 2005, 2009? No, whenever. But it took several more years to make sure nobody was with the team anymore. Bagwell and Biggio came back; they're advisors or whatever, but they're not playing. They're done. They even had John McClane. John McClane. Yeah, it is John McClane. No, it's not John McClane. McCain, Mike, Steve, Jim. No, it's Jim Crane. Ah, shit, McClane, the previous owner, had to sell the team for Jim Crane, and Jim Crane finally won the Astros' first World Series game. They had to go through some trials and travails. They had to go through, Jose Lima giving up 20 or losing 20 games. They had to go through 4 seasons where they lost a combined 400 plus games. They had to do all of that. They did. They paid their dues. They went through all of that. But then they built the dynasty, and now they're in a stadium that the roof opens up to the sky, and the good Lord can look down and watch the games. And there, they finally broke the curse. And that's not superstition. That's real. That's truthful, real. That's how it happened. That's how it works. If you mock God, you mock the baseball gods, you mock the powers that control the game, then you will be smited. Smoted? Smitten. Smitten is not what it is. Smitten is a different thing. But that's real. That's baseball. I don't think it works the same way in hockey and football. I'm pretty sure there's no gods in hockey or football, except Wayne Gretzky. He's a god in hockey. And the other guy, Art, what's his face? He's a god in hockey. But they always play those games, or I guess they used to play them on just lakes way back in the ancient days. But now, they always play hockey indoors. They play hockey indoors. They play football wherever they play football. Gods don't care about watching football, I don't think. But that may be why college football is just a better product than professional football, because they play college football outdoors all the time, except for a handful of schools that play indoors, and they suck. So there you go. Even the Houston Cougars, when they played in the Astrodome, they sucked. And they had good years, but they sucked. Anyway, I digress. I'm going off on a tangent. Don't worry about that. The SAG-AFTRA strike, that was another one that I wanted to talk about tonight. Because I'm actually going to post a video about this in the next couple of days. Like, there's a whole lot of influencers out there, and TikTok actors and YouTube actors who think now is their chance to get a movie deal, a TV show, a TV deal. They can break out of the internet and get into the TVs. And I just feel so sorry for these sad, stupid, deluded idiots who think that they can get a development deal and think that people actually find them interesting in real life other than on the internet. That think that the producers that want to use them are doing anything other than a cynical ploy for content on their TV shows and TV stations. I mean, here's the thing. They don't respect the internet creator people. They don't respect them at all. And that's evidenced by the fact that they're only coming to them because the real actors have noped out and said, "No, we're not going to do this without a deal." And the producers the studios that want to hire these content creators off of the internet for whatever deals that they're doing. They're only coming to them because they know that they can get them for cheap. They can get them for non-union wages, for non-union scale, for non-union performance. And it's so sad because these internet guys think that they're going to be actors in real life, not realizing that when the strike ends, the real actors aren't going to give these people the fucking time of day. They're going to be done. Oh, hey, Soldier Girl. What's up, Soldier Girl? Hi, girl. How you doing? I got Soldier Girl on the chats. What's up, Soldier Girl? Everything just got classy. All of a sudden, everything got classy. Put your pants on, boys. Get your feet off the furniture. Close your mouth when you chew. Soldier Girl is here. Act like gentlemen. Act like you're not degenerates. Stand up and behave. You show that woman respect that she deserves. And note, I said this respect you deserve, not just plain old respects. I love you, Soldier Girl. You're so great. How am I and my wife? Me and my wife am good. We just got back from a week and a half road trip. Went and visited her dad. Went and visited her friends up in Ohio. She grew up in Ohio, Wapakoneta, Ohio. She grew up over there. I was born in Toledo, but I grew up here in the Houston area. She grew up out there. She moved here in late high school. Yeah, all her old friends are up there. I respect you too, Soldier Girl. You're such a good person. You're so cute. But yeah, we had a ton of fun. I was saying earlier, we stayed in Natchez, Tupelo, Louisville, Nashville, Wapakoneta, Paducah, Kentucky, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and then we made our way back home. So from Hot Springs home is about 6.5 hours. And that's how we made our way. That's how we got home. Hang on, I gotta confirm when the first night was. I'm glad you missed me. I haven't had a chance to be on Bacon Show because I'm just exhausted by Friday night. I'm just worn out. Get a confirm. Where did we stay first night on road? I think it was Jackson, Mississippi. I don't even have to ask that. We stayed just outside of Jackson, Mississippi the first night on the road because the first night on the road, the second day on the road, we went to a petrified forest in Jackson, Mississippi. There is a petrified forest. Fun fact that most people do not know: there is a petrified forest in Jackson, Mississippi. Yes, that Jackson, Mississippi, the capital of Mississippi, right there on the Mississippi or near the Mississippi Delta Wash, there's a petrified forest. The petrified forest is buried underneath a regular forest. So what had happened was about 32 million years ago, upriver, which was formerly a coastline. Bacon's in the house. What's up, Bacon? That's the weirdest damn thing. We say Bacon's name and he shows up. But that first night was in just outside of Jackson, and just outside of Jackson is Flowwood is where we stayed. Flowwood, just outside of Jackson, but there's a petrified forest just off the freeway, and that petrified forest, 32 million years ago, way up the coast, there something happened. The trees fell into the water. earthquake, volcano, whatever it was. The trees fell into water, carried downriver towards the Mississippi River Delta, got washed up on the side in a big giant log jam, and this big giant log jam was buried under uh, thousands of feet of or hundreds of feet of mud and sediment, and in an anaerobic setting, and all of the minerals and everything from that from the soil seeped their way into the wood, and it was a full wood replacement, a full mineralization of the trunks of the trees. So the trees were not the trees didn't get hollowed out, and the wood didn't petrify. The wood was replaced with the mineralization from the water, and it's the most surreal thing because you're walking through this little path through like a little wooded trail in the middle of the woods. You're walking down this little wooded trail, and inside this wooded trail, I think I've got pictures on my phone, as a matter of fact. Inside this wooded trail, like literally embedded in feet, feet after foot after foot after foot of soil, is petrified wood. It's just, I mean, here's a perfect example right here. This is the the floor of this wall of sediment, and down here at the bottom, I don't know if you can really see that. Down here at the bottom, that is petrified wood. Those layers down at the bottom, that's petrified wood, and this is all just mud and soil on this wall of this embankment. Um, and here's another shot here. Yeah, here it is. There's a tree. There's a tree down there at the bottom and up here at the top, and in between there's this layer right here in between. That is a log, a petrified wood log, sitting across. And it's so absolutely surreal. It looks like you're walking through Jurassic Park, almost. Um, this ancient. Oh shit! Here's a perfect example right here. That cap on the cap there on that path is a log. That is a petrified log, just sticking out of the dirt, the black Mississippi mud. Um, it is absolutely surreal uh, walking through this place. Absolutely surreal. I think. Yeah, and that's some of the examples of the actual. Oh, and this I thought was really funny. In Mississippi, you see these bumper stickers. I love MS, and the first thing I think of when I see that is multiple sclerosis. Like these people in Mississippi really love multiple sclerosis a lot. Um, which that's weird, but okay, whatever. You do you. You enjoy that stuff if that's what you want to enjoy. Um, where's another picture of the petrified forest? Is this another picture of the petrified forest? Uh, yeah, this is another picture of petrified forest. Um, this is this is a perfect example of the stuff that we would see in the petrified forest. That is a regular log laying down on the ground, and just above it, that green thing, that is a petrified log that is embedded in the soil just above it. A regular log that fell, and a petrified log above it. Absolutely wild shit. Um, and those are coffee stirs that we used to remove a tick. And then we didn't have first aid on the trail, but we did have that. This is a picture of the Natchez Trace that we actually, like a part of the actual Natchez Trace that we walked on for a little while. It was fun. It was a cool trip. So yeah, part of the trip we spent on the Natchez Trace heading north from Natchez, Mississippi to um, Natchez, Mississippi up to Nashville, Tennessee. It is about a 450-mile trail a 450-mile road that follows the path of the old Natchez Trace. And the Natchez Trace was the route that farmers would walk. It was an old highway, walking highway that Native Americans used. It had started off as a animal trail, food trail. Animals would travel up and down. It was just a walking path for animals. Native Americans started to use the trail, following herds of animals, following animals north and south as they traveled parallel to the Mississippi River. And eventually, when Americans started, French first, and then Americans started settling in the West, what would happen is farmers would go from the Tennessee River Valley and Ohio River Valley and go down to the Mississippi and carry all of their goods from the harvest on a flatboat down the Mississippi River to Natchez, Mississippi. They'd sell everything, including the boat, at Natchez, Mississippi, get on the Natchez Trace, and walk their way back along the 400-mile path to their farms in the Ohio River and Tennessee River valleys. And eventually, this old Indian highway, this old Indian trail, became basically a vital communications and travel route in the old American frontier, in the old American West. And it was a logistical center, and it was used as a post road. It was used for mail. It was used for communications. It really was a vital backbone for communities all up and down the Mississippi River, going from Natchez through Jackson, through Vicksburg. Most of the trail is in Mississippi. There's a little portion of it in Alabama. It cuts north through Tennessee, which is it's a short state. It's a long state. It's wide, but it's a short state. It kind of cuts north into Tennessee and kind of ends in Nashville. So that was and by the time it gets up into Nashville, then you start getting into relatively civilized places that have roads. So the trail kind of ended in Nashville, but for 200 years, from the early 1600s through the late 1800s, that road was a vital communication, vital travel, vital commerce path, and local municipalities and local communities would pave parts of it and maintain parts of it and try to keep it usable throughout the year. Even during the War of 1812, Andrew Jackson used it as he marched troops south to New Orleans to fight off the British after the war ended. It was used during the Civil War. It was used during the Indian, some of the frontier wars when they were fighting the Indians. Most of that land was peacefully taken over, except for when Andrew Jackson forced everyone onto the Trail of Tears and shipped everyone out. Then part of it was used as tribes and families were moved west out of this farming territory in the south of the United States. So it's a really cool, really historic place. You cannot drive it at night. They strongly recommend it. You're not supposed to be on the road at night. It's limited access. It's not like a freeway, but it's limited access, and that there's very few paths roads that intersect it. There's no street lights. Due to the lack of development along the sides of the roads, there's no shops, no towns, no gas stations, nothing like that. Due to the lack of development, there's a lot of wildlife that live in those woods. So as soon as the sun goes down, the deer come out. You can see the deer grazing on the side of the road. And sunset was around 8:20. So starting from about 7:30, when the sun was dipping behind the trees and it started to get dark, yeah, that's when you start white knuckling it, because you're beginning to see all the animals come out. We saw raccoons, we saw dogs, we saw wild turkeys, we saw evidence of boar, but we didn't see boar, and we saw lots of deer. Where's Chat? Oh, Chat's there. Just nobody's talking. That's where Chat is. Cheers, Pulse Kebab. Cheers, Soldier Girl. Cheers, Bacon. Who else is there? That's everybody. And Kurt. Cheers, Kurt. But yeah, that's the it's a cool little historic byway, and all along it there's Indian mounds, um, there's Indian mounds, there's old homes, there's old uh, branches uh, where there was businesses by the river. There's old homes or not homes, hotels and bars and things, sites where hotels and bars and brothels were. The first probably 100 miles of the Natchez Trace are very uncivilized and rough. Like that was, the farmers were flush with cash and they didn't want to spend it in hotels. They were strong and ready and excited and they had all their energy. The last 300 miles is where you see most of the hotels and stands and uh, goods stores for people to get supplies and continue their trip. So it was really cool. It was really cool. And then we got to when we got to we just walked through Nashville. We didn't stay there. We went to Nashville, then Louisville, and then we didn't stay in Louisville though. Yeah, we did. We stayed in Louisville. We stayed in East Louisville. And then from Louisville, we went to Wapak. We stayed at the KOA in Wapak. Um, we like camping too, a lot, Soldier Girl. But when you have five of us, which we now have five of us when we go camping, it's not so easy to find camp tent sites for five people. And having five people in a tent is no fun. So we do cabin camping. And we are very good at cabin camping now. We have three totes that we pull out of the back of the car, bring them into the cabin, set up the beds, set up the rooms, and one of those totes is our pantry. We pull out the food and we eat, and it is great. It is a great way to go camping. I absolutely love it. Um, but then we go to while we were in Louisville, we stopped at uh, Border Oak Distillery. And Border Oak Distillery's hook is that they are named for the tree that was set as a border on Lincoln's property there in Lincoln's birth property, or where Lincoln was born in Louisville. Sorry. So they have a section of the border oak in their distillery, and one of their whiskeys is named for Lincoln. One of their whiskeys is named for General Patton. One of their whiskeys is named for the 82nd Airborne. One of their whiskeys is named for the 101st Airborne. Yeah. And then they have the lavender whiskey that they make, which is really delightful. Um, what's the other one? I can't remember what the other one was, but it was they were all good whiskeys. I was not a big fan of the cask strength. The Lincoln was the one I had my eye on. I wasn't a big fan of it because it was cask strength. But they make really good stuff. Their 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne is available in specs down here in Texas, but their other stuff wasn't. And I got a bottle of the lavender, which I thought looked really cool and tasted really cool. Um, 3 shows in the next 2 weeks. Ooh, wait, what? Decided to go to the concert. What concert? Where's Polska Bob going? What concert are you going to, Polska? It's the Band of Maids. Oh, okay. I haven't heard of those guys. I don't know what that is. I don't know what concert that is. But it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be awesome. 3 shows. Are you working the show? Anyway. But yeah, that's the. When we go camping, I mean, we used to do the tent camping. We used to do tent camping, but the biggest challenge we have with tent camping combined with road trips is getting into the campsite after dark and setting up your tent and setting up the campsite after dark. It's no fun. It's no fun. It's a real pain in the ass. So, but rolling into a KOA that has a cabin, the building is already built. All you got to do is throw down the sheets, uh, turn on the AC, and you're out. You're done. They have AC, which is awesome. Um, one of the nights where I was camping at the fireworks stand, my generator went out and I couldn't get the damn thing to start back up, and which means I didn't have AC, which means I was inside of a building in the beginning of July in Texas without AC. It was super duper uncomfortable, so I had to sleep in my car. Um, and sleeping in your car sucks. It's just no fun. At least sleeping in my car. The driver's seat is not designed to sleep in, and it was so uncomfortable. Since I brought up wild turkey, would be a local equivalent from what would be the local equivalent from where I visited? Actually, where I visited, there's a lot of local equivalents to wild turkey because where I visited was, I mean, Kentucky, Louisville. They had a bunch of them. Both the animal and the whiskey itself. I mean, they made wild turkey down the road from where we were. But I was I was more excited about going to the Border Oak Distillery. We passed up Neely Distillery. I had a chance to go back to Neely Distillery, but I didn't want to go back there because I already had their whiskey. I wanted to get a different whiskey when I was there in Kentucky this time, and I did want to stop in at another distillery, and we did. We got a chance to stop in at Indian Lake Distillery, and I tried real hard to convince my lovely wife to stop in at a third distillery in um, uh, Arkansas, but we were behind schedule. We were running short on time. As it was, we were getting home around 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and I really wanted to. I didn't want to push it too late, so we passed on the third distillery. But almost got a chance to go to three whole distilleries that are truly new, truly unusual, truly small batch, truly unicorn grade type of stuff. It was it was good times. It really was a good trip. It's refreshing. It's fulfilling. It's time to spend with our family. Get to know to get to know the people you live with, which is really cool. Get to see the things that they do and get to see the wonder on their face as they see new things. We went to the highest peak in Mississippi. The highest peak in Mississippi is 806 feet. 806 feet. The highest building in downtown Houston is 1,020 feet. So if we were at the top floor of the tallest building in downtown Houston, we would be looking down on the highest peak in Mississippi, which I find fucking awesome. I find that to be super duper cool. Even at the observation deck, which is like floor 85, we would have been above the highest peak in Mississippi. I think that's just the coolest damn thing. Um, Jealous in a good way. You camp in my car, the travel trailer with tents. Oh yeah, I mean I've done it. Usually we sleep in the car as an emergency measure. I do not like sleeping in the car. We also have a rooftop tent that can go on top of our van, which is I find that to be just fantastic. Not so much for the placement of the tent, because putting a tent on the ground is fine. I have no problem putting a tent on the ground. The cool thing about a rooftop tent is you just kind of come to a stop in a rest area or off the side of the road or a scenic overlook or whatever. Come to the stop off the side of the road. Go out, you pop the clasps on the tent. The tent opens up, the floor folds out, you drop down the ladder. Your tent is set up. You're ready to go. You climb the ladder, you go inside, you lay down your bedroll, and you're out. You're finished. You're done. You don't have any more setup to do. You don't have to inflate a mattress. You don't have to, organize everything. You don't have to mess with all that crap. You're done. And then in the morning when you're finished, you sweep everything out, throw it in the back of your car, fold up the ladder, fold up the floor, close the clamshell, and you're out. You're in the car. You're ready to go. Head down the road. Grab yourself a coffee from the corner store or whatever, and you're good to go. The rooftop tent that we have is an iCamper, IKAMPER, iCamper. Um, it's supposed to sleep four, but it's really two adults and two kids. Our kids have aged out of sleeping in the iCamper with us because we're not going to sleep two adults plus two 17-year-olds plus a 12-year-old. There ain't no room in there. Hell, there's no room in there for two adults, a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old, much less two 17-year-olds. But we do have not an awning, a annex that's attached to the front of that we can attach to the front of the iCamper, which gives us a whole extra room, like 12 by 12 square room down at the bottom. So that'll easily sleep 2 people in cots, plus 3 people up top. I mean, hell, it'll probably even sleep 4 people down below. So if you want a private room up top and a public room down below. But it is super, the iCamper or rooftop tents in general, I absolutely love them. The only drawback with them, among others, the biggest drawback I find with a rooftop tent is that if you are sleeping in a rooftop tent at a campsite of some sort and you want to move and go somewhere for the day, let's say you're camping at Cades Cove in Kentucky and you want to leave Cades Cove and go into town to get food. Well, you have to completely pack up your tent, get all the bedrolls, all the pillows, all the stuff out of the tent, completely pack it up, load up, and leave, and then come back and then reset up your camp. Versus a ground tent where you can just leave and leave all your stuff there on the ground. So there's that. That's one of the drawbacks with a rooftop tent. Also, gas mileage and all that other stuff because you got this thing on top of your tent. But there's ways to get around that too. You can put your rooftop tent on a trailer, and go camping that way. But that's not the same. If you're gonna have a trailer, you might as well have a fucking trailer. Put a trailer camper back there and just stay in the trailer. Vanessa Kitty's in the house. Cheers, VK. Glad to have you here. Good to see you. So happy to see Vanessa Kitty in the house. So we got Kitty, Bob, Bacon, Soldier Girl. What's up, Soldier Girl? How you doing? I'm gonna make things weird. You never leave your campsites unguarded. Well, I don't leave my campsites. I don't leave my campsites unguarded unless they're in a camp. Like I'm not gonna just like if I'm camping in the wilderness, I'm not just gonna leave it. But if we're like in a camp or a state park or someplace like that, I don't have any problem with that. Of course, I don't ever have anything worth taking at a campsite anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. I mean, what are they gonna do? Sleep in my bed? I mean, animals may come and eat my food, but if a bear comes to eat my food, I'm not going to stop him from eating my food, even if I'm there. And we don't leave food out when we leave the campsite anyway. We have food in a tote, and we put the tote in the car. Boy, big stretch. I just had a pinch in my back, and it hurt like a mother. I couldn't figure out how to unpinch it, but it's all better now. Where are we at? Well, you know what? I'm going to switch screens here. I'm going to turn on chat on the screen because I'm kind of done talking. I don't really have anything else to talk about. We'll just do that. There it is. There's chat. Cheers, chat. And I guess I could scroll back up and see if there was anything I missed. Let's check. We went camping, had fun. Trying to get unbooked. I do want to come out to the Northwest. I absolutely want to come out up to the Northwest. When you look at the map of places we've traveled as a family, we've got the Southeast, Southwest, Midwest, and Central states. So we've traveled a path from basically Wyoming to South Dakota and points south of there. Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, South Dakota, Iowa, Kansas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and of course Texas. And then Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, and then south from there, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, and then Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. So like Virginia and up the East Coast, and then Nevada, California, and up the West Coast and over to Illinois and or not Illinois, Iowa and Montana. That's, we haven't been able to get there because we take road trips, and to get all the way to California and up the West Coast, I mean, that takes more than a week the way we travel. I mean, we could get to California in 2 days. Half of it would be Texas, the other half would be California. Because it's about 13 hours from Houston to El Paso. Jesus. 13 hours from Houston to El Paso. 13 hours from Houston to El Paso. Anyway, but we take 2 days to get to the West Coast, and if we got a spring break, we got basically 9 days to spend on the road. So if we take 2 days to get to the West Coast, 6 days to go up the coast, or 4 days to go up the coast, and then 3 days back home. That's that's booking it. It'd take 4 days probably the way we do it to get from Washington all the way back to Houston. Hey Siri, how far is Seattle, Washington to Houston, Texas? Let's find out. 1,889 miles as the crow flies, says Siri. As the crow flies. So that would be, let's call it 2,200 miles probably on freeways. So that would be easily a 5-day drive the way we do it. Because we go three to four. Jesus Christ. That would be, yeah, no, we got to do it. It'd have to be a 2-week trip. It'd have to be a 2-week trip. And we've been talking about that. Doing a trip, renting an RV, taking 2, maybe 3 weeks, and just doing a full-on land cruise, going from Houston, bumping our way up, going through Rushmore, Devil's Tower, Yellowstone, bumping our way across the Rockies, getting into Washington, going to the coast, then heading south down the Golden Highway. We've talked about it, but we haven't done it yet. We're talking about it. We gotta. That's not cheap. Anyway, what else did I miss? For always welcome here. We're gonna take you up on that. It might be a couple of years before we can make our way out there, but we're gonna take you up on that. Because it would be so much fun. Rogue Distillery, Newport, Oregon. Duly noted. In fact, I'm going to write down Rogue Distillery in Newport, Oregon, because that sounds like somebody I should probably contact at some point. Where'd my pen go? Uh-oh, did I lose a pen? I think I've lost my pen. Ah, there it is. It's in my other notebook. Rogue Distillery. Newport, Oregon. And you know what? I lied. I said that I shaved my beard because it was looking scraggly after the road trip, and it was growing in a way that I didn't like it. I lied. That's not entirely true. And I just reminded myself why I did it, because I looked over here at my side desk, my side table here, and I remembered what I did a couple of days ago. I had a promo at a cigar shop. It was a cigar lounge. They sold cigars, and I bought a couple of cigars, and I hung out there for about 6 hours with these fine folks at their cigar shop. And when I came home, my beard stunk like cigars, so I shaved it. That was it. Nothing more vain than that. I just stunk and I didn't like it, so I shaved it. Even after showering and scrubbing out my whiskers with scented shampoo, it smelled like apricots and cigar smoke, so I shaved it. So there you go. What else we got? Let's keep scrolling. Bacon Kitty. I only use basement tents during my camping trips. What? Only use basement tent? I don't know. What's a basement tent? I'm unfamiliar with that term. Basement tent? Okay. I'm down with that. I just got home. Um, long and frustrating. That's what she said. Kitty Claymores, the unsung heroes of camping scoot. um, I so many choice of explosives. Huh? Oh, I'm enjoying reading back through chat. The side towards the enemy. Oh, this side towards the enemy for a reason. Oh, that's funny. Claymore mines. If I leave early from the campsite, when I'm in the car, I like to say, "Hey guys, I have a game for you. Find the meat before the bear finds you." That's a good one. That's a good one. Um, Bouncing Betty on speed dial. Fun with stuff. Burn pit and watch. Jesus Christ. Oh, you army guys. Military goons. Love it. Um, this is the reason. Most fun is using white phosphorus smoke grenades. Jesus Christ. What are these things called smoke. Now with the C4 det cord grenades, missile mortars, etc. Have two spare bedrooms. Oh, that's awesome. And then we don't have to bring our own bedrooms. Um, but no, my lovely wife has a full itinerary for a trip that we're going to take from Houston to Washington and down the West Coast. She has a full itinerary plan, 3-week trip. And when we come up, I'm absolutely going to look all you guys up there in the Northwest. Ike and Bacon and you, Madam Soldier Girl, all of you. I'll let you know. I'll probably be blog posting from the seat of the car. Of course, I thought I would be posting from the road for this trip too, but I did not. Not one single time did I post from the road on this trip. Um, Not one time. Um, did I? No, I didn't. I didn't post anything. I might have done a reel or a short, but I did not do anything. So I have a travel trailer hookup in front of my house on the side. Yeah. Um, thermite charges always welcome. Always welcome. And for what it's worth, if you ever come down to Houston, we have a spare room as well. So there you go. Holes through the tank targets in the range. Why is it doing this? Quit doing that. Metal reinforced entrances. Electronics field. Cutting metals with thermite rods was quite fun. I absolutely love those videos. And I know y'all are talking about doing it in person, but I absolutely love watching those videos of thermite doing what they do. I need a vacation. Vanessa needs a vacation. Yeah. Vanessa absolutely needs a vacation. Most people, y'all absolutely deserve vacations. You should take more of them. I'm a big advocate of vacations. I think everyone should be mandated to take 3 months a year. Of course, I'm an employer who doesn't employ anybody except myself. So, but yeah, 3 months a year. We should all have 3 months a year vacation, and it should be mandated. You should not be allowed to come into work for 3 months out of the year. And if you're a good manager, you're making sure your people are taking their vacation, even if it's only 3 weeks. You're making sure people take their vacation. That's how it works. No videos online in the 80s. That's true. There were no online videos in the 80s. The 80s were a strange time, a very weird time. In fact, speaking of weird times, one of the pastimes that we did on the road this time around was, and this was a new thing. It was sharing mildly irritating curses. Not like drop dead, you fucker. That's wishing death upon somebody. This was wishing mild irritations upon people. Big angry Phil's in the house. Cheers, Phil. Uh, like, man, I hope your left sock is slightly damp sometimes. Uh, or man, I hope when you're hiking that seam on your sock is right under your big toe. Or man, I hope when you're trying to sleep, there's a light in your window all night long. Or I hope when you're trying to sleep, your fan clicks occasionally and keeps you awake. I mean, I don't know if well, if you're not that kind of person, you're bad. But when you're like laying there and you're trying to sleep and you're dozing off and your fan goes click 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 click, and then it stops and then your eyes are wide open and you're like, when's it gonna do it again? And you're just laying there in bed looking at your fan, waiting for it to happen again, but it doesn't happen again. And then you kind of get tired and you kind of relax. And you're like, okay, I guess it was just that one click, 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 and you're awake again. And then it stops. And then you're like, all right, yeah, that. This was what was happening while we were playing Uno. You drop the skip card, you skip the person next to you, and the person looks at you and goes, I hope your pants are just unusually fitting on you. The thighs are too tight and the waist is too wide, or the waist is too tight and the thighs are too wide. Yeah. Um, so your link, SG Soldier Girl's link. Oh, so sweet, Soldier Girl. You shared the link. You're awesome, Soldier Girl. Oh, and I also need to get some watch hours, so I'm probably going to go live every night this week. Tomorrow night, I might. In fact, I know I know absolutely what I'm going to do tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're going to read the indictment. We're going to read the fucking indictment tomorrow night. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go live tomorrow. I need the watch hours. So tomorrow night, I'm going to go live. I don't really have a topic for tomorrow night. Not yet. I haven't gone live every night in a week in like 4 years. But tomorrow night's the regular Wednesday night happy hour. And I think tomorrow night on a regular Wednesday night happy hour, we're going to read the indictment. Yeah, be fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm happy that Law and Order justice is finally being served. But we'll talk about that more tomorrow night. Let's see, 11.75 times 18. 211 divided by 60. 3.5. We're doing okay. Still need like 11 hours a day. I really need to bump it up to about 25 a day, but that's watch hours. We're getting there. Thanks, Soldier Girl. We have the coolest long distance crush. Connecting this, what happens in Europe? Yeah, the 3 week mandated. We have shitty management in the states, from the corporate level all the way down to the junior management level. We just have shitty. We have shitty business philosophy, and this is stemming from the 1940s. No, from the 19 teens. The stemming from the 19 teens when Henry Ford tried to take, as CEO of his company, tried to hand down the directive to his division managers and uh, um, shift managers and hiring manager and everybody down the line to pay people more money, to give everybody an increase in pay, to take the ridiculous amount of cash that they were making and turn it back into paying their employees so their employees could be wealthier and make a better wage. The board of the management board um, at Ford took Henry Ford to court to prevent him from paying his workers more. And this went from the courts in Michigan up to the Michigan Supreme Court, where Henry Ford lost. And the judges said that the company owes no the company owes no loyalty to their workers. The company's role is to return profit to the shareholders, not return profit to the workers. And hence, that ruling, that decision has translated all the way through the years for 100 years to where we are today, where a company's role is to return profit to the shareholders, to provide returns on their investments to the shareholders, not the stakeholders, not the communities, not anybody else, just the shareholders. In Europe, a different business philosophy, a different management philosophy, where the company's role is to to create equitable returns for stakeholders, and stakeholders are the communities where the businesses reside, the families of the workers themselves, the shareholders, management, everybody involved with the ecosystem around the company, the suppliers, the vendors, everybody that's involved in the company. Because, if the company goes out of business, it's not just the shareholders that are hurt. It's the workers' families, it's the charitable organizations that receive funds from the company, it's the suppliers to the company, it's the vendors for the company. It's all of these people. Like when Chrysler was on the ropes and GM was on the ropes here in the States. It wasn't just General Motors, it was General Motors and all of the distributor suppliers, the hose suppliers, the spark plug suppliers, the tire companies, the steel companies, everybody up and down the line that was going to be affected by GM going out of business. Everybody we talked to up in Ohio, they've got several car factories up in Ohio. In Wapak, I mean, hell, just outside of Wapak is the Airstream factory, which, by the way, is fucking cool to go check out. The Airstream factory is absolutely amazing. They have a museum in there with the history of Airstream and the story behind the people who created Airstream and built Airstream and the ethos behind it and everything. The history of the company is amazing, absolutely amazing. But you can also look and see the work being done on the floor. And there's no assembly line for Airstream. They don't have Airstreams going down the line and everybody just coming up and putting a rivet, putting a rivet, putting a rivet. There are crews that work on a single Airstream trailer. They get their specs, they have their parts, and they assemble the Airstream. This crew of 5 people, whatever it is, they assemble the Airstream trailer from scratch. The shell of the trailer, I guess, gets brought into on the floor, and then they're going from there. They're assembling the top to the frame, or the shell to the frame. They're putting in the carpet. They're putting in the benches. They're putting in the beds. They're putting in all the stuff. It is fascinating to watch. Absolutely fascinating. But anyway, we have a different management philosophy here in the States. And if you go to a place like Wapak or Cridersville or some of these small towns in Midwest Ohio, if you don't work at the Honda plant, you work for Honda. 2 or 3 steps removed. You're in a air conditioning or spark plugs or distributor or assembly for brake pads or whatever it is. You're working on something that goes ultimately to the Honda shop where they assemble it into the cars. You don't work for them directly, but you work for one of the businesses that services them. So you work for them indirectly. They're your major client. They're your biggest vendor, your biggest supplier, your biggest buyer, whoever it is. And ultimately, that's how it works. If that factory goes out of business, then it has a trickle down it has ripple effects all the way through the rest of the economy in that area. And yeah, they can still ship the parts, put them in a truck and ship the parts across town or across to Mexico or across to Canada or put them on a boat and ship them out to China or whatever. But it's so much easier to have the factory right there. So if the factory leaves, the support factories, they have a strong incentive to leave as well. So, in the philosophy of business, being responsible to the stakeholders, then it's not your problem to make sure they stay afloat, but your business decisions, you make business decisions with the understanding that you're not working in a vacuum. It's not just you and your shareholders, it's you and all of your stakeholders that are involved in that company. And, if you do If you do one thing, it creates ripple effects that go all the way through the economy. Like, oh, I don't know, making intentionally bad loans on mortgage-backed securities or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, if we had a philosophy of managing to maximize benefit to stakeholders, then we would do things like 3 months mandated vacation. Make sure that your employees are doing well, not just doing their job, not just performing and functioning well, but saying, look, you look like you're stressed out. Do you need some time? You can't come into the office next week. Maybe work from home instead of being a piece of shit manager that has to look over everybody's shoulder and monitor what you're doing. 30 days leave allowed each year. Guess how many days I lost, said accrued lease. How many days accrued? Oh, yeah. If you don't use it. Yeah. And that's the thing. Managers discourage you from using your vacation. Private sector managers all the time, they discourage you from using your vacation. You go on vacation, you're putting too much work on your coworkers. You've been gone for a month. Your coworkers have been doing your work for a month. No, that's not my fault for going on vacation. That's your fault for not having enough staff on hand. That's management's fault for being understaffed, for only having 4 people for the work of 5. So I go on vacation and everybody's overburdened. You should have 6 people doing the work of 5. And we've been more and more productive every year forever, but pay hasn't gone up, benefits haven't gone up, nothing is nothing's okay. I don't want to. I'll just have a drink. Let's relax and have a drink. Anyway, we'll talk about that another day. We'll talk about how companies are fucking us on a daily basis later. Not today. I don't want to do that. Not right now. Phil, medical walking miracle. Alaska in 84. Then I get 5 days when I turn home in April 1985. YouTube comment mods have shown up and what YouTube comment mods? Have there been YouTube comment mods? I haven't seen anything. What's up? Is it YouTube? YouTube? Oh, anyway, whatever. I don't know anything about that. Is that the app mods? Because I don't think my mods are doing anything bad. Comment mods are shown up and chose violence. Appreciate the big 3 being around. 60s and 70s wouldn't have been the same. Even in Japan, ask Datsun and their Charger inspired. Oh. Datsun and their Charger inspired Skylight. I don't know what that means. The Datsun Charger inspired Dodge? Is that what you mean? Because Dodge makes the Charger now. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Big Angry Phil. Tell people to hit like. Tell people to subscribe. Where's my subscribe number? Still 2210? Okay. That number is actually, let's see what the 2210 actually is. Oh, it actually is 2210. According to my dashboard, we actually are at 2210. That's the actual number. So it's not 2209 rounded up. It's actually 2210. Whoops. Make it bigger. There we go. All right. But, all right. Where were we? I think I know that chick. She goes by LB for short. What? Pound the like button. LG. Anyway, all right. Bring back the Ford Pinto. Is the Ford Pinto ever gone? Every leave I submitted was reneged. Yeah, and see, that's just bad management. That is just bad management. So we don't have enough staff. We don't want you to take vacation. Like, screw you guys. I quit. Then replace me. There was a lady who did that. There was this town. She was like the town clerk or something like that, town secretary. And she wanted to take a week-long vacation, And the city manager said, you can't do that because we don't have anybody to cover your work for you while you're gone. So she quit. She quit. And then they didn't have a town clerk or a town secretary or whatever it was that she did. They just didn't have it. So permits weren't getting filed at all. Permits weren't getting filed. Permits weren't getting approved. Permits weren't getting, like none, checks weren't getting cashed. None of the stuff that was supposed to be happening for the city happened because she quit, because they wouldn't approve her vacation. So she said, "Fuck off, I'm out," and she left. I mean, yeah. I've told so many kids that who are bitching and crying and moaning about their job. Like, we live in Houston here. I live in Houston. We're in Houston. Houston. This town is full of shitty jobs that you're gonna hate. You don't have to stay at this shitty job that you hate. You can go to another shitty job that you'll hate. Go work for some other dumb job, some shitty, terrible job, some other shitty, terrible manager. Work there. You don't have to work here. Quit this one and go to another one. Nothing usually comes of that, but yeah, there's the city's full of terrible managers and terrible jobs and places that you're going to hate working. You don't have to hate working there. You hate work somewhere else. Just go. Quit. Go for 2 weeks and find another shitty job. And there's got to be some other job where somebody quit just like you. Just go work there. Um, so what hot pepper would you pair with my whiskeys? I would not pair hot peppers with my whiskeys. I like hot peppers, but I don't like hot peppers and whiskeys. Do not like. Um, Pete Buttigieg went on maternity leave. It was paternity leave that he went on because he's a guy. Guys don't go on maternity leave. They go on paternity leave. But companies don't always offer paternity leave. They only offer maternity leave. I went on paternity leave for a month after part of it was vacation. I went on paternity leave for a week because I had 3 weeks worth of vacation. So I went on paternity. No, I had 2 weeks worth of vacation. I took 2 weeks off and then 2 weeks off of paternity leave. It was not paid paternity leave. It was unpaid paternity leave. But I took 2 extra weeks off when my kids were born. I did because my wife needed help. And I think I came back on a part-time basis for a week. And then I was gone for, yeah, I was not full-time back for a full month. I was gone for 2 weeks, helped out with the kids, helped out with the wife. And I went back into the office for a couple of days, then took a couple of days off, then went back into the office for 2 or 3 more days and took a couple of days off. And then I was back full-time. So I think it was probably 2 days on, 3 days off, then 3 days on, 2 days off, and then full-time in, if I recall. Liquor Camp is in the house. Cheers, Liquor Camp. Glad you made it out. If I'm not mistaken, y'all are in New York? No, Ohio. Are you in Ohio? I think you're in Ohio. We were just in Ohio. I should have looked y'all up. I didn't think about it. My mistake. I feel bad about that. Sorry. That's how I say it. If them's the rules. Yep. Yeah. So bacon's drunk. I think that's a fairly safe statement on most days of the week that bacon's drunk. You just gotta, if he's awake, 288 divided by 60 is, yeah. Yeah. What part of Ohio, if you don't mind me asking? Or if you don't mind saying, I'm going to ask whether you like it or not. What part of Ohio? Because we went up through Cincinnati, Covington, Kentucky, Cincinnati, up to Wapakoneta, Cridersville, Wapakoneta. Then we turned around from Wapak and went back south to Paducah, Kentucky. I just like saying Paducah, Kentucky. It amazes me that there's a place called Paducah. Holy shit! We were right there. We were right there. We could have hung out. I had a case of whiskey. We could have had a drink God damn it! Now I feel super bad. I am sorry. I am sorry. I should have written. I should have. I should. I did not plan my trip out very well ahead to meet people. I was focusing on meeting family. I didn't plan my trip ahead to meet people. My bad. Sorry, liquor camp. Next time, we're up in Ohio, which won't be long. We'll probably be up in Ohio again in the next 2 or 3 years. Next time we're up there, we'll look you up. We'll say hey. We'll do some stuff. Cause some trouble. We've got probably in the next 3 years a trip to Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and Wapakoneta, Ohio. Probably in the next 3 to 5 years is my guess. Possibly sooner. Possibly sooner. Yeah, so there you go. That's how all your trips go. One of the things I really like to do up in Dayton, though, we joked with the kids. You're south of Covington would have been fun. This was my picture from Covington. We just drove through Kentucky. We didn't stay there for very long. But this was our picture from Covington. This was us on top of the highest peak in Mississippi. That's our Boomtown Bourbon on the highest peak at Woodall Mountain, 806 feet. That is our whiskey on top of the world. Woodall Mountain. Tennessee River Valley. That was Tennessee. That was Alabama. My lovely wife on a log. You don't get to see that. It sounded dirtier than it really was. Us at a waterfall. Come on. Get us there to Cincinnati. This is a great picture. This is at the end of the Natchez Trace. That is the double-arched bridge at the end of the Natchez Trace going into Nashville. It is a beautiful picture. A beautiful sight to see. And they put up, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? They put up a fence. Yeah, you can see that. They put up a fence on the bridge. They put a fence up on the bridge because 32 people over the course of 5 years jumped off the bridge. So they put up a fucking fence with barbed wire and everything to prevent 5 people a year from jumping off the bridge and killing themselves. Guess what they do to prevent suicides from guns? I'll let y'all guess that. See, there I am on the bridge. Beautiful. Where am I? What am I looking for? That was the distillery stills. That's the largest pocket knife in the world. Here it is. That is us in Covington, or my whiskey in Covington, Kentucky at the Overlook. That is Cincinnati in the background. That is Cincinnati. That is Cincinnati. It's a beautiful town, Cincinnati is. But that is us. That is my whiskey at Covington overlooking Cincinnati. But I was telling my kids that the Dayton Accords. Oh, and this is me and my son touching a sign that says "Do not touch," because we're rebel degenerates. And that's the Airstream. That's the number one, the Airstream from the guy who invented Airstreams. That's his Airstream. So fucking cool. Anyway, what was I saying? What was I talking about? Oh, Dayton, the Dayton Accords. I was telling my kids the Dayton Accords when they got the ceasefire in the end of the Yugoslav conflict, the Serbian-Croatian Yugoslav conflict, all that nasty mess. They was it Wesley Clark? General Clark picked Dayton as the place for them to sit down and negotiate the Dayton Accords. Not, I mean, one, because they were called the Dayton Accords. You could only find so many places named Dayton. But they sat down there to negotiate the peace agreement in Dayton because Dayton was so boring. They had no distractions. They couldn't stop them from uh, going off and wandering off and doing things, because there was nothing to do. That's why they picked Dayton and the Air Force Base in Dayton. But more broadly than that, Dayton has in the area of Dayton is the Air and Space Museum, the Wright Brothers Bike Shop, the Bicycle History Museum, the Airstream Museum, the Wright Brothers Flight School, the original flight school in the United States, all in that area. It's a really cool place to go and visit and explore and go check out. Dayton is a surprisingly cool little town to go visit. And it should definitely be on your road trip list if you're traveling through that area. Dayton's surprisingly fun. The Bicycle Museum is more fascinating than I expected it to be when I went there a few years back. Of course, the Airstream Museum was awesome, and that was an unexpected visit. Like, there's such a thing? Yeah, okay, let's go. But Airstreams are so damn expensive. Who can afford to buy an Airstream? Jesus. Anyway, that's how I say. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, let's keep going. Don't forget to subscribe. An actual liquor camp. I just did an actual liquor camp. Yes, Ohio and Dayton. All right. South of Covington, Kentucky. Okay, so next time we travel in that area, I got to find a Steve Erpenbeck and a liquor camp. I'll write that down for my next road trip so I don't forget, and I will make sure that we get included. Liquor camp is Dayton, Ohio, and Erpenbeck is Covington. And I've got a cousin who is just outside of Louisville who I thought was still in Houston. And I got another couple of cousins that are outside the Covington area, but I didn't connect up with those guys. Home of the original rims of lowriders. Mm-hmm. Dayton rims. So, well, thank you, Liquor Camp. I appreciate that. The Air Force. Oh my God, the Air Force Museum is so cool. The room that they have with the missiles. Oh, dude. It puts a lot of things in perspective. You get the size of the missiles, the spacing of the missiles, all that stuff. That's really cool. That was the thing that hit me, that struck when I saw those. When I saw them there, just like sitting there, it was like, wow, they're not, like, most of these aren't that big, and they've got such a destructive force attached to their the warheads attached to the top of these are so fucking destructive. But the Air Force Museum is so cool. They got the planes, the history of the planes, the types of planes that were used, going all through the reproduction of the Wright Flyer. Just all kinds of cool stuff in that place. It's been, Jesus, probably 20 years since we've been to that museum. But it was really super duper cool. When Hot Russian X and I visited the Grand Canyon, also a really cool visit, yes. We walked and sat along areas where we could have easily fallen to our deaths. I peed in the Grand Canyon once. Don't hear about too many jumps there. You don't hear about a lot of jumps. You hear a lot of stories about. I think there's like 6 people who die annually at the Grand Canyon taking selfies of themselves. The whiskey would have looked better at the bar. And we don't deliver to Ohio. Ohio is not one of the states, is not one of our 34 states. Ohio is not one of our 34 states, unfortunately. What's this? There it is. Let me get that map up here. Browse. Let me see if I can find my map and my downloads. Browse for there it is. There it is. This is my map. My 34 states map. Whoops. That's too big. Make it bigger. Make it smaller. This is my 34 states map. We are available. We're not available in Oregon, but we are available in Washington. 34 states. Here we are. Washington, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho. It's too small. I can't see the states. Make it bigger. Texas, Nebraska, not South Dakota, no, not Kansas, Oklahoma, Montana, over here, Wisconsin, Wyoming, or not Wyoming, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, not Mississippi, but yes, Alabama, Kentucky, I already said Indiana, Florida, South Dakota, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, Delaware, Vermont, no, not Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maine, and Washington, D.C. So 34 states plus Washington, D.C. I'm going to put that right up here and leave that right there above me. I think we should have that as a permanent feature of this live stream from here on out. We don't deliver to Ohio, but I can deliver to Ohio because Brown delivers. Military Aviation Museum close to Seattle. Yeah. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, the first Airstreams were made in Washington and they moved production to Ohio because that's where the dude lived. Got another hangar to the museum a few years back. It's 25% larger now and admission, free admission as always. Cool. If I mail to Washington State, the local liquor tax, if you buy it from me directly, no, if you buy it from Washington State, I don't know, go to the website and find out. I think it's only shipping charges. Because the taxes are paid by the distributor, not you. Go to the website, oldhumble.com/shop now. oldhumble.com/shop online. Go to the website. I don't know, because if I order it in Texas, my address is Texas, and I can't have it shipped to me in Texas. So I don't know, all the stuff when I order in Texas applies. I don't think that, I think you're buying from the distributor wherever the distributor's warehouse is. I think if you get it in Washington, you're buying it from California, because I think that's where his warehouse is that he ships to Washington. Or you're buying it in Texas and it's shipping from the warehouse in Texas to Washington. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know all the physics. I just know that if you go to the website and use discount code MAKEIT2, you get free shipping if you order 2 bottles. Discount code MAKEIT2 gives you free shipping if you order 2 bottles. I need to put that in a little box on the screen so that people know it. But if you buy either of our 2 collections, the sugar and spice or sophisticated and smooth and sophisticated, you get $5 off the 2 bottles that you buy. And if you buy 2 bottles and use make it 2, you get free shipping. I know Washington State just plows taxes into all kinds of shit. But what I'm saying is, you're not buying it from a store in Washington State. You're buying, and I don't know how the taxes apply. If the distributor has to pay taxes, the distributor pays taxes. I don't know. But I do know. Hang on, I got to get this thing over here. I do know that you can save $23 by ordering 2 bottles off of our collection, because the collection you already save $5, and you use the Make It 2 code, and you get it shipped free with no shipping charge. Independent Joe's in the house. Cheers, Joe. You got to run. Much love. Love you. Good night, soldier girl. We'll see you next time, dear heart. And Bacon, I am going to try and get on your show on Friday night. Just hopefully I will have some energy this week, and I will be caught up with all my stuff. So there you go. So we're at 6 hours of watch time right now, which is good. I'm working. I'm trying to get 12 hours of watch time tonight. Trying to get my watch hours back up, and it looks like I may go another hour. 3-hour show. Cheers, Bacon. Or cheers, Soldier Girl. Good night. And welcome to the party, Independent Joe. Welcome. Tomorrow night, anybody who's interested, tomorrow night, our regularly scheduled Wednesday night happy hour, I will be reading the indictment. All 40, well, I don't know if I'll go through all 45 pages. I may skim through parts of it. Very exciting time for me. I'm going to pin this. Shop online. That is our online store. And you know what? I'm going to go to this main cam. I'm going to go to our channel. Old Humble Distilling. Shop online. There it is. I found it. See how long it takes to load this up. Okay, so over here on this screen, I've got my shop online. There we go. And as soon as it comes up, I will add it to the show, and we will take a look and see. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. And maybe, I don't know, maybe I will be able to see what happens if what gets added to it when I do a order for Washington State. I got to find an address in Washington State that I can ship it to. Shouldn't be that hard. Let's look for an address in Washington State. What's the state capital of Washington State? What's the address? Hey Siri, what's the address of the state capital for Washington State? Capital is Olympia, located at the southern end of Puget Sound. Yeah, I know that. That's not what I asked, you fucking idiot. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go. Let's find out what happens. Let's scroll up. Save it here. We're going to find out what happens. Bacon. Let's go back to this page. And let's go to add me my screen. Come on. Source. Which one is it? Is this it? Yep, that's the one. Where's it at? Where'd it go? Oh, it's hidden. Ha! There it is. Okay, so here's our online store. Is it this one? Oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, cool. So here's the online store. And if I scroll, what are you doing now? Okay, let's just move it over here. Where are we going to put it? Here? Cool. All right, shrink it up a little bit. Okay, so here's our online store. And as you can see, we have, oh, I see, that's out of the frame. Okay, so we have our Boomtown Bourbon, which is only $60. Our smooth and sophisticated. Does it scroll across? No, it's messed up. Okay. I just screwed it up. Okay, there it is. Our smooth and sophisticated bundle, which has our uh, Boomtown Bourbon and Special Reserve. And then our Special Reserve itself, which is only $40. And see, this is 60, that is 40. Together, they're only 95. So you save $5. Pretty fucking awesome, if you ask me. Then down here, we have our Double Oak Straight Rye. There's no price on that. Huh. Oh, there it is. $45 for the straight rye. And our straight whiskey, which is down here, is $30. $35? 30. Which is it? $35. So together they're $80 if you buy them separately. But if you buy them together, they are only $75. So let's buy our smooth and sophisticated bundle. Boom, add that to cart. All right, so then we go to our cart. All right, so the cart will pop up. Give it a second. I don't know, I just heard something weird happen out there. We'll give it a second to load up, and we'll come back over to chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a Washington delivery address and see what happens. So it's $95. $95 is what it is. Let's go back to the main cam. There it is. You see that? $95. Now, let's see here. Discount code make it 2 is what I'm going to put in. Make it 2. Where is it at? There it is. Make it 2. And that's going to give me my discount code. I'm going to move this over here so I can see it on this screen. So I don't have to look over here. I can look over here. So that's the discount code that we're going to add in. And that's going to make my shipping $0. I will apply it. And see, it says taxes applied at checkout. So I got to find out what that's going to be. I don't know what that's going to be yet. Oh, wow, you can do it as a gift. So I can buy it here and ship it there. I don't know. I don't want to. Okay, I got to move this back over here. It's driving me nuts. All right, we'll come back to it. Give it a second because it's thinking. Washington State's bad. Yeah, I know. Have a great night, Phil. Cheers, peeps. Night, everybody. Independent Joe, what's up? Have a great night, Soldier Girl. Yeah, I want the actual address for the Capitol building. I know it's in Olympia. I just want the actual Capitol building's address. Okay, so if I go to checkout, I want to make sure my address isn't on here as well. We're going to go with that. United States. Okay. What's the actual address for the Capitol building in Washington State? Capitol building, OL, Washington State. Capitol. So if I want to send mail to the fucking Capitol in Washington State, here it is, location. All right, let's go. Main cam scene, back over here. All right, here we are. Look up here at the top. Street address. We're going to go with this. 416 Sid Snyder Avenue, Avenue, Sid Snyder, and help if I spelled Avenue right. Avenue. Okay. And the city should be Olympia. Come on. There it is. See, this is the all this is the information where you got to put it in to get it shipped to you. Olympia, Washington. Come on. Washington, good. Zip code is 98504. That's the one. Sid Snyder, Olympia, Washington. That's fine. Okay, come on. What the fuck are you doing, man? Come on. All right, I've got to go back to main cam with chat. So it acts proper. Okay. You put in the right zip code here, 98504. Go back to the main cam scene. We review. Don't call me. It's 1041 3rd Avenue, Seattle, Washington. Is that somebody's home? This will give me an idea of what it's supposed to be, of what happens. We saw that it was $95, right? So now we got to see. It's going to ask for credit card number. There you go. It only adds. There you go. There's the price. Look at that, 103.08. There's your cart summary. It'd be $103 to buy 2 bottles of whiskey. And there's your cart summary. Shipping is free. Taxes are $8. There you go, brother. There you go, brother. $103 to send 2 bottles of our finest Boomtown bourbon and the special reserve, free shipping, $8 in taxes. There you go. That is, by the way, the same price that would cost in Texas and Florida and New York City and anywhere else in the country. So there you go. That answers your question. What happens about the state taxes? Well, you're not paying Washington state taxes. You're paying whatever taxes are being applied by the distributors, paying whatever taxes that they pay in their country, in their state. So there you go. There you go. I hope that settles it for you and that answers your question. You'll be able to do that order and get it done tomorrow or today or whenever. Yeah. Yeah, see? Yeah, you see? Be good and good for you. Let's see here. 12.5 times 36 divided by 60 is, all right, we're getting there. We're marching our way up to 10 and a half hours, and I've got about 50 minutes left in the program. So if y'all got questions, give me questions. Let me answer them. Happy to do so. What else? What was the next 2 steps? What was the next things that we did? Oh, the Superman Museum. Oh, I told you about that. This was fucking awesome. Let me show you. Let me show you some pictures. Well, first of all, this was the giant Moon Man in Wapakoneta at the Moon Festival. Like I said, it was the Moon Festival. The first in the Moon Festival, first to the Moon Fest that they have in Wapak every year. Right around July 20th. And these were the guys that they had in front of the Moon Man. They had stormtroopers, Star Wars guys, and a Princess Leia, a very old Princess Leia showed up. They had tractor display. Oh, here's what's really cool. In Wapak, there's a space museum, a Neil Armstrong Space Museum in Wapakoneta. It's just a small little museum, but they have it's a really cool display of Neil Armstrong's memorabilia and the Mercury capsule that he flew in. They don't have the Apollo capsule that he flew in. That's the Smithsonian, but they have his Mercury capsule, or his Mercury or Gemini. I think it was Mercury. His Mercury capsule. Um, they have a bunch of really cool memorabilia. They have a 3D printed replica of the spacesuit that he wore on the moon. I asked everybody there, much to my family's chagrin, where the yellow jerseys were. Um, I'll let that sink in for a second. Where were the yellow jerseys? Because Lance Armstrong won 7 Tour de France titles. Thank you very much. The Tour de France was going on at the time. It was timely and present and prescient. It took everybody a second to get the joke, but they got the joke and they groaned. It was hilarious. It was loud. I was happy. Everything worked out great. Um, but it's a really cool museum. It's a really cool museum, and they have a video, a little mini movie that shows the build up to the space race, how they did it, all the stuff. And I tell you, the most inspiring damn thing of any politician ever was when John F. Kennedy was touring the nation giving his Why We Go to the Moon speech. And the most inspiring line from that speech was, and continues to be, why do we choose to do these things? Why do we choose to send a man to the moon and return him safely to the earth? Why? You might as well ask, why does somebody climb Mount Everest? Why do we why does someone climb Mount Everest? Why do we Jesus. God damn it, most fucking inspiring speech, and I can't even remember all the goddamn words. Kennedy, Kennedy. Why do we go to the moon? Y'all just gotta bear with me for a second. It's we choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because the goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are not willing to postpone. It is a great speech. Easily the most inspiring thing a president has ever said in his lifetime, in all of our lifetimes. It's never been said. Nothing like that has ever been said by another president. I mean, Reagan said some stuff when he was fighting the Cold War, trying to defeat the Soviets. But when he gave his speech at Rice University here in Houston, it was ad-libbed to the crowd that was there. The Rice University crowd. And it was just so great. Those who came before us made certain that this country rode the first waves of the Industrial Revolution, the first waves of modern invention, and the first wave of nuclear power. And this generation does not intend to founder in the backwash of the coming age of space. We mean to be a part of it. We mean to lead it. For the eyes of the world now look into space, to the moon, and to the planets beyond, and we have viewed that, and we shall not see it governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but of the banner of freedom and peace. We have vowed that we shall not see space filled with weapons of mass destruction, but with instruments of knowledge and understanding. God damn, it gives you chills today. 60 years later, it still gives you chills. Are you kidding me? And this was done with off-the-shelf equipment. This was done with with shit laying around in a Radio Shack. They needed to re-engineer it to beef it up a little bit, to make it stronger, make it better. But this was done with stuff that we knew how to build in the 60s, in the 50s. It's stunning. It's absolutely unbelievable. There's no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as yet. Its hazards are hostile to us all. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind, and its opportunity for peaceful cooperation may never come again. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountains? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Which, by the way, fresh achievement within their lifetime. 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic. Why does Rice play Texas? Rice University was an academic college. They always got the hell beat out of them by Texas. At least for the 30 years prior. We choose to go to the moon. Did that work? Did it work? Did it work? Did it work? Did I get it? Did I fix it? I think I fixed it. I did. I've got it fixed. All right. Jesus Christ. As I was saying, Tater Dom's in the house. Good night. Thank you, Longshanks, for updating folks while I was doing my work for technical difficulty theater. And there we are, fully operating again. So as I was saying, there's no strife, no prejudice, no national conflict in outer space as of yet. Cheers. Cheers, Dom. Yes. Me without my beard. Its conquest deserves the best of all mankind. Its opportunity for peaceful cooperation may never come again. But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And why may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why 35 years ago fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? Rice University being the education school, the academic college that had an aeronautics program, space and aeronautics program. Texas being the state school that played Rice every year and beat the piss out of them. We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one that we are unwilling to postpone, and one which we intend to win. And the others too. It's for these reasons that I regard the decision last year to shift our efforts in space from low to high gear as among the most important decisions that will be made during my incumbency in the office of the presidency. God damn, it gives chills down my spine reading that. Every fucking time I read that, it sends chills up and down my spine. That is, if not the most inspiring thing a president has ever done in the United States, it is at least the top three. I can't think of many others. FDR, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Sure, great. We're going to war against the Germans. We're going to war against the Japanese. Let's go. But this was a purely voluntary act. We could have tested those missiles. We could have tested those ICBMs. We could have tested those missiles in 100 other ways. We didn't have to send human beings to the moon to test those missiles that would launch our nuclear warheads into the Soviet airspace. We didn't have to do it that way. But we chose to go to the moon in this decade. That's how he said decade. Decade. In this decade. Not because it's easy, but because it is hard. Fuck you, world. We're doing this. We're doing it. Some said it can't be done. Hold my beer. God damn. Anyway, so that movie, they run that movie at the Neil Armstrong Museum there in Wapakoneta. So we go to the Wapakoneta Museum. We spend time with family and friends there in Wapak. Then we turn around and we go down to Paducah, Kentucky. We spend the night in Paducah, which it was just a long drive down to Paducah. It was like 6 hours on the road. It was a long drive. And for us, that's a long drive. We stopped, we had lunch. You know, we bump around, we do some things, we see some sights. You're going down the freeway, you see a thing off the freeway. The way we like to do our road trips is we like to put a little bit of buffer in our trip so that we can, you know, leave a little bit late, have a nice breakfast, have a nice lunch. We don't get up at 6 in the morning, load into the car at 7, and drive for 12 hours to get to our destination. That is misery. Absolute fucking misery. We will drive for 6 hours and watch a couple of movies in the minivan on the way down. We watched Footloose and two of the Indiana Jones movies on our way down to Paducah. We stayed in Paducah. Paducah is a nice little town, nice little KOA. We had our cabin. We had our in the cabin. We're not talking like a big 5-room cabin. This was a 2-room cabin. It had 2 bunk beds, four bunks, 1, 2, 3, 4, in one room and one twin queen size bed, full size bed in the other room. Full size bed for the grown-ups, twin bunks for the kids. It really was. It was actually not any bigger than this, probably smaller than my office, to be quite honest. Probably about half the size of my office. 2/3 of the size of my office. Big enough to put 2 bunk beds in a full-size bed. And that's it. It's, 12 feet by 8 feet, maybe. Not a big space. Not a big space at all. Which version of the original version of Footloose? Sunflowers. The only version of Footloose. The original. Which was funny because we're driving through cornfields and small towns. Cornfields and small towns on our way down to Paducah. which is in and of itself a small town, Paducah of all places. We head down there, and it's just, we're watching Footloose. Me and my wife are singing the songs, loving it, absolutely loving Footloose, singing the songs, cruising down. We're having a fantastic fucking time. It was great. Grease is also on the playlist, 43 times 12. When we're heading down, 516. We're closing in on 10 hours, and I got 30 minutes of show left. 10 hours is the goal. I need watch time, people. Tell your friends. So anyway, we roll into Paducah, and I'm looking at the map in Paducah, the map, because the next stop after Paducah is Memphis. I'm looking at the map. Yes, I know there's 2 Footloose movies, but there's only one Footloose movie. There's the updated version in 2023, but there's only one. Kevin Bacon, Footloose. That's it. There's no other Footloose. Sorry. I know they made 2, but there's only one Footloose. There's one Footloose and then the remake. That's it. Anyway, so I'm looking at the map of Paducah and the map to Memphis, and I remember from our last road trip through the Natchez Trace that there was a little town. So there's a little town across from St. Genevieve in Missouri called Chester, Illinois. Chester, Illinois is the home of Popeye. Look it up. It has Popeye memorabilia, Popeye storefronts, Popeye statues. There's Popeye, Olive Oil, Brutus, Wimpy, everybody from Popeye. There's little statues all through town. You can do the little tour, see the town, see Popeye, do all this stuff. That's in Chester, Illinois. But there's another town in Illinois. You may have already seen these pictures. There's another town in Illinois called Metropolis, Illinois. Metropolis, Illinois, you say? Yes, Metropolis, Illinois. This was Indianapolis there. That's Indianapolis as we drove past Indianapolis. Metropolis, Illinois, you ask? Yes. This is also what most of our trip looked like as we traveled. It beautiful country, empty country that we went through. But we drove through. Who was I flipping off? Why was I flipping somebody off? What is going on here? I flipped somebody off. I don't know why. This was me flipping somebody off. I don't know what I did. I don't know what that was all about. Anyway, but we drove into Metropolis, Illinois, which was only about 30 minutes from Paducah, Kentucky. And in Metropolis, Illinois is the largest Superman memorabilia store in the country. It is the only recognized metropolis in the United States as home to Superman by DC Comics. And they've just got all kinds of fantastic, cool little memorabilia. They've got a display of Christopher Reeve's wigs that he used during the filming of Superman, the original Superman costumes, Margot Kidder's, the signed poster for Margot Kidder after she died, comic book memorabilia. Are we back? I think we're back. Are we back? It says we're broadcasting. I'll know for sure in a minute, I guess. All right, we're gonna get back to. I'm gonna act like we're connected. Everything says it's green. Everything says we're connected. I'm gonna keep going and give it 5 minutes and see what happens. And then go from there. Studio says we're dead. Are we? Are we dead? No, we're there. Are we back? Almost. Are we back? Are we back yet? God damn it. How to kill a broadcast in 3 easy steps. Step 1, have a shitty computer. Step 2, keep using that shitty computer. Step 3, use that shitty computer more times. It says we have an excellent connection. All right, I'm here. I'm here. Were you there? Whoops. Are we here? I'm not seeing the video. I see the video here and I see the video here. I don't know if I see it on my phone. Maybe I turned off the Wi-Fi. There we are. All right. Looks like we're connected. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing because OBS is being squirrely on me. Fixed? I think we fixed it. I think I fixed it. Okay, Jesus Christ. All right, so this, like, it started off tonight with technical difficulty theater, but then it became another thing entirely. I'm going to close that. I'm going to pop this out. Close that up. Pop out chat. Bring you over here. And, all right, that worked. That works. It's working so far. Okay, good. No, it started off this morning, or the beginning of the show, with I bumped my connection over here, and I lost everything, and I had to restart it right at the beginning of the show. And then at the end of the show, I kicked over my lamp somehow. I lost my lamp. And then we've just had a pain in the ass. All right, I'm back. We're good. Chat rate is demolished. Everything's been demolished. 52 views, though. Appreciate you guys. That's 520 minutes. To answer your question, Bob, I need like 1,400, 1,300 hours. I need a lot of hours. I need a lot of time. That's Missouri. That's Arkansas. Oh, all right. So this was the last stop. The last really cool stop. We walked on Muscle Shell's in the house. Cheers, Muscle Shell. We walked on Beale Street. This place, oh my God. It is so fucking magical to walk on Beale Street and see the places. BB's Wings, the Orpheum Theater, which is across the way from Beale Street. The stars on the sidewalk around the Orpheum Theater. There was Mae West and Mandy Patinkin and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan played at the Orpheum Theater. And I saw his star there. Patti LaBelle performed at the Orpheum. Oh, it was so cool. It was so absolutely cool to be walking on Beale Street. You could hear the music. It was so cool. And then at the Welcome Center, there was a statue of Elvis Presley, statue of B.B. King, the fucking legend, B.B. King. Homeboy was just something else. Just something else entirely. And then so that's a picture for me, not you. Um, this was from in Hot Springs. Hot Springs, Arkansas. For those of you who don't know, is actually a place where hot springs come from the ground. This is a picture from the observation deck. That is Bathhouse Row. So back in the early 1800s, mid 1800s, um, people discovered these hot springs in Arkansas, in a place called Hot Springs. Tennessee is beautiful. Graceland. I went to Graceland when I was a kid. Graceland is a big, gaudy mansion. And I live in Texas. I've seen big, gaudy mansions so many times since going to Graceland. I mean, it's something to go see once. It's a cool little place. It's Elvis chic. Um, I didn't bring the kids back to it. Wasn't that interested. But yeah, absolutely go to it at least once. Elvis's house is cool. He was a fat old rich man in the 1970s. You should go check it out. Check out his home. He had terrible taste, as did most fat old rich men in the 1970s. Um, he died on a toilet in that mansion. But anyway, we were in Hot Springs. Hot Springs is a place where there's like literal hot water coming out of the ground. There were places that had water trickling out of the ground going across the sidewalk. You put your hand in it, it was literal hot spring water coming out of the ground. The vents, there were vents on the sidewalk. You could stand over the vents and feel the hot air coming from below. The So the vents weren't for hot air. The vents were for rainwater. So when it rains, it goes out and goes into the streams and rivers. They're storm drains, right? But the hot the geothermic processes that were heating up the water underground were also heating up the chambers that were the storm drain tunnels. So the storm drain tunnels were being heated up by the same geothermic processes that were heating up the water, and the air inside the tunnels was superheated, not superheated, it was hot. So this is the middle of July, end of July. It's 95 degrees outside, and you could feel hot air blowing up out of these vents. So cool, so awesome. So back in the day, rich people doctors. Doctoring, the hospitals back in the early 1800s weren't so much a place where you went to get well. They were a place where you sent the sick to die. You did not, as a healthy person, you did not go to the hospital. If you went to the hospital as a healthy person, you would leave as a sick person, if you left at all. Um, there was no understanding of germs. There was no understanding of bacteria. There was no understanding of contamination. There was no understanding of any of that. Medicine was an art, not a science. There were herbs and herbal remedies and minerals and salts and all this other shit. Just like hippy dippy stupid people take their rocks and put them on your chest and say, this will cure your cancer and get your chakras in line. All of that is nonsense, make believe bullshit. That said, rich people would leave the cities of Chicago and Indianapolis and New York City and head down to Hot Springs, and they would go to their bathhouses and spas, and they would sit in this heated mineral water, and they would bathe in the heated mineral water, and they would spend a week in Hot Springs bathing in heated mineral water and come out feeling rejuvenated. And they assumed that there was some kind of magic in the water that was seeping into their skin and seeping into their system and rejuvenating them. So they were rejuvenating hot springs. And people built these bathhouses all along Bathhouse Row there in Hot Springs. There were at one point like almost a dozen. Right now, as of today, there's 6 that have survived. But they build these bathhouses, and people would go, and athletes would go, and it was a spring training destination for Major League Baseball teams for the 1800s. People would go as a therapeutic retreat. Doctors would prescribe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the healing therapeutic waters and hot springs. This was all done as because they thought that the springs were healing springs. They're not. It just turns out that if you sit in hot bubbling water full of minerals for 30 minutes a day for 2 or 3 times a day for 7 days a week, you're going to feel better at the end of the week because you've spent a week bathing in a hot spa. You could do that in your backyard. No shit. It's not any science. There's no magic to it. It's all science. It's you're resting in fresh air, warm water, mineral water. You're resting for a week in a place that's not full of soot and trash. It's a warm environment in the mountains. The air's relatively dry, relatively speaking. So your tuberculosis is being remedied. Your joints are being heated and comforted and bubbled under. Like everything is there to make you feel comfortable, make you feel good, make you feel happy. You're eating well, you're being tended to, you're being cared for. And go figure, at the end of the week, you feel good. This wasn't available to poor people. This wasn't available to norms like you and me, like normies. It wasn't available to us. But that's why hot springs built up into this like retreat, this therapeutic retreat. Gangsters would frequent hot springs. Hollywood movie stars, businessmen from New York City, Chicago, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Toledo, Cleveland, Memphis, all the major manufacturing and entertainment hubs around the area, they would come to hot springs. And they would get their spring on. They would get their mineral springs, they'd get their therapy on. Babe Ruth frequented it after he was traded to the Yankees. He frequented hot springs, especially in the springtime, especially during spring training. They had a little baseball circuit down there in Hot Springs. Beautiful place to be. And it was absolutely gorgeous. And that's what it looks like today. It's a national park, and this little strip of road, bathhouses, historic bathhouses, and a hospital, and hotels on the other side of the road. It's just this. It's woods. Oh, you saw the picture. I'll show it to you again. It's this rustic, wooded environment. I mean, this is what Hot Springs looks like. It is absolutely gorgeous, and this was looking. Come on, go away. There you go. This was looking, I think, to the south from the observation tower. That's the town. All those woods is the national park area. And yeah, all those woods is the national park area. I just zoomed in. That's the hospital and Bathhouse Row. That's it. All those were bathhouses all along that area. And yeah, that's Hot Springs. It's this is me and my Aunt Joy. I love her so much. That's me and my aunt. Cousin Rosie, my little nephew and niece. And this, I took a picture of this. That is a Zips liquor store in a town called Seven Oaks. It has 68 people in that town, and they have a Zips liquor store. That's all. That's all there is to say about that. They still haven't picked up my whiskey, so fuck those guys. But no, but for real, I like Zips. Zips is good people. They will be picking our whiskey up soon. And this was another view from the observation tower on top of the mountain at Hot Springs. It is just absolute. It's a gorgeous place to be. It's a gorgeous little town. And it's so relaxing just to walk around through there. It's so relaxing. It's so pretty. It's so beautiful. And the water is apparently magical. So there you go. There you go, guys. That's my tales from the road. And once again, on the road, we visited 2 small local distilleries. And if you're traveling on the road and you go to a liquor store, you're not hunting for new and unique bourbons. If you're on the road, don't go to the liquor store in Paducah, Kentucky. Look up the liquor distillery in Paducah, Kentucky. That's where you're going to find the new and unusual stuff. That's where you're going to find the little bottles like this from Neely Family Distillery. Have you heard of Neely Family Distillery? No. If you've heard of it, it's not rare. Unless it's Old Humble Distilling Company, then it's rare. If you've heard of it, if you've seen it in your liquor store, it's probably not rare. Those things get to the local, those things get out to the liquor stores because these people have national distributors. Go to your liquor store and say, what do you have that's local? What do you have that's local? Your liquor store knows what's local. They know what's good. They know what's from around the corner. They know what's from in the area. If you ask a liquor store, what do they have that's local? They will give you something that's new, unusual, and unique. A delight for your senses, a specialty from the area. Don't go to some foreign place and just have Wendy's or Arby's or whatever. We actually did have Arby's on the road because our hunger is stronger than our memory. But don't just go and have chain food. Go and eat local restaurant food. Go eat from the locals. Go eat what they have to prepare. Go eat their local barbecue. Go eat their local coleslaw. Don't eat coleslaw. Coleslaw is garbage. Go eat their local salads. Go eat their local steaks. Go eat their local chicken. Go eat their local recipes. Go eat what they make. You're in their house. Be respectful. Go. Ask them what's good. Who should I go eat at? Where should we go? Tell me what's good. Talk to the people. They know what's good. They'll tell you. They'll absolutely tell you. Same way with the whiskey. Don't go into someone's state and ask for some fucking Kentucky factory whiskey. I mean, seriously, you're in Oklahoma. Ask for Oklahoma whiskey. What do y'all got that's made here? What do y'all got that's made within 50 miles of this store? What do you got that's within 50 miles from my camp? Go find a local distillery. They've got the best stuff. And some of the stuff they have at the distillery, they're not even shipping to stores. You want to get Old Humble cask strength, you got to come to Old Humble's Distilling Company. Just so you know. Anyway, it's 1 o'clock, guys. It's time for me to go to bed. It's been fun. It's been a 3-hour show. I appreciate you folks spending some time with me on a Tuesday night. I'll be back again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we read the indictment. 45-page indictment. Probably won't read all 45 pages. Probably don't need to read all 45 pages. Tomorrow night we read the indictment. We are living in interesting times and justice will be served. I'm so excited. I'm so super duper excited. It's going to be a good night tomorrow night. We're going to read the indictment. Let the trolls come out in March and crawl out from under their bridges and give me shit. 54 times 11 point, what is that, 0.15? Yeah. We are past 600 minutes. That is 10 hours. 10 hours of watch time tonight. Guys, I so super duper appreciate that. And to answer your question, once again, Tater Dom, to answer your question, how many hours do I need? I need 1,307 public watch hours to reach 3,000 public watch hours. Just 3,000? I thought I needed 4,000 still. No, there it is. Yeah. So 2,307 to get to 4,000 watch hours. That's where we're at. So, yeah. Load up all of those IPs and watch me on a loop tomorrow. I appreciate it. Absolutely. 100%. I'm going to be doing the same thing with my side accounts. Absolutely, without question. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, I am, have been, and will continue to be the Old Humble Guy. I do indeed appreciate your support. I do indeed appreciate y'all spending time with me. I will see you again tomorrow night. If you have any interest whatsoever in what I'm reading and what I'm saying, I'll have a drink. We'll read the indictment. Cheers. Good night. Vaya con Dios. Habla se español. And all that stuff. Cheers. Be awesome to each other. See you tomorrow night. Good night.